Good, cold, and Sunday morning here in the Delaware Valley, guys. Welcome to Philly AM Sports with Al and Mike. I'm Al. He's Mike.
I'm here. It's actually kind of funny. We got a snow event. I'm actually here. Yeah, actually, guys, got a little personal stuff to take care of later today. So that's why it's not just Al working. Because if not, it would have been. Because believe it or not, Al, we had a nice, crisp 4 a.m. call out for this morning. So
wow.
yeah. So
like waking you up in the morning with that in the call, huh?
Hey, listen, I did. I had 15-hour one yesterday. Came in at 2:00 in the morning yesterday, so to get ready for that. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. What's going on, my friend? And Adam, of course.
Adam. What's up, Adam?
Guys are up bright and bushy tailed early on this cold, snowy Sunday morning in January 18th. It's January here, guys. It's January 18th, 2026 at 9:03 a.m. And I have not had a chance to talk to Mike about the ongoings in Philadelphia sports over the last week since me and him have been on this show together. A lot of you have heard my raspy voice talk to you about the Phillies and the Eagles. We're going to talk about the Phillies and Eagles, but we also really want to touch on the outcome of yesterday's two games. And Adam already kind of poked his head in on this one. How about those 49ers? So, as if anybody didn't notice, the 49ers were literally handed to them yesterday. They were out of that. It's funny. I made a comment. I said, that nobody. Sam Darnold was kind of questionable going into this game if he was playing. I said the way they start. I said he don't look hurt, but we still might see a backup quarterback playing it like the fourth quarter maybe here. The rate this is going, but I was right. Seahawks dominant. I mean, I don't even know what term is dominated. They bent them over and they made them their bitch. I mean, I'm called if you don't want the graphical thought process, but it is what happened. Mike, are the Eagles that bad and the 49ers and then the 49ers got beat? Like if the Eagles had to play the Seahawks tonight or last night, would the same thing have happened? Like what the hell happened, man?
The injuries caught up to the 49ers. Like, let's be real. Like they were playing on borrowed time. For one game, Kyle Shanahan beat Vic Fangio, and that's what happened last week. Our offense of woes continued, but I'm still going to continue to say this. I still feel like the Eagles have just as good a defense as Seattle. Now, what really kind of worked against us that didn't work against Seattle was their San Francisco special teams. Their special teams were really, really tight against us. Like we couldn't get, there wasn't no punt return. Like the opening kickoff, the dude ran back a 95-yard touchdown to get it going. Like so, they were down 7-0 right away, and it just. For me, I'm going to be honest with you. The timing just ran. Everything caught the 49ers last night, and it just snowballed. That's all that happened last night. Like
reality set in.
No, not reality. I'm just saying, like as far as the injuries finally caught up with them to where they couldn't overcome it, and you can't fall behind a team like Seattle. You have to kind of get ahead of them, and the 49ers, literally within their first two possessions, they were down 10-0. Then it was 17-0. So, again, before the Niners could even remotely even start moving the ball, they were already down. And like I said, it was a snowball effect, man. It just, you could tell that Seattle was the fresher team waiting. The one that I'm really surprised about, honestly, Al, was the game earlier in the day. Like, I thought Seattle would beat San Francisco. I didn't think they'd beat them that bad, but the game earlier, I just shut up about Josh Allen. Just shut up. I don't want to hear about Josh Allen. Josh Allen to me is the AFC version of Dan Marino / Dak Prescott. That's what he is. He'll have great regular season numbers. He may win a few. He may win MVPs. When it comes time to have to play in the postseason, he chokes. And I'm sorry.
He's the Philadelphia Phillies of the NFL right now. I mean, looks great in the regular season. And here's my thing is, and I'm probably gonna probably start pissing some people off with this comment. And I'm not here to start this argument, but why is it when certain members of our teams have success and then falter at the end. They're bums. They need to go. They suck. They're not that good. Whatever term you want to use it. But people, they defend Josh Allen to the grave with him. They still call. I mean, he's still considered a Hall of Fame quarterback. This is not what a Hall of Fame quarterback should do. And it's kind of funny if you saw his post game interview. I think it's starting to really settle in on him. Like,
oh yeah, it hit him hard yesterday. It really did. It hit him hard yesterday. Like, I did watch it, and I'll tell you what too. Like, but I will give it to Allen. He did own up to it. He said, "I didn't play good. I didn't play well enough. You know, it was because of me." Now, granted, like I don't know if you saw his linemen or some of his teammates. I kind of saw like a little version of it, where like Deion Dawkins started crying. Like the whole team was in tears yesterday, apparently, and. But again, like he didn't do any. What did he do that was so spectacular? I mean, to be honest with you, to be 100% real with you, Al, they shouldn't have won last week's game if his lineman didn't pick him up and carry him 4 yards. Which, by the way, I didn't know you could do that. Like and the biggest proponent against push, yeah, it was the Buffalo Bills, right? They wanted it outlawed, but damn, they damn sure running enough, don't they? They damn sure running enough.
I mean, at one point, like if they want to go vote on it again this year, does the NFL themselves, does Roger Goodell or whoever say like, Buffalo, you don't have a vote this year. Sorry, you probably ran it as much as the Eagles did this year. You know, like
they ran it more,
and you complained about it. So like, you know, and I think I saw a tweet that said that there is 6 tush pushes yesterday, at least 6 tush pushes yesterday, by people who
voted against it. Now, you want to hear something that's funny too? The Eagles actually have a case for them not being able to run it as good this year, and as much as it's gotten stopped, the percentages came way down.
Yeah,
on that play. So that's why I'm laughing, because if it just missed before, it's not going to be able to do that. What about that?
So he's talking about the Broncos one where the guy like kind of rolled and the ball came loose.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks. He caught the ball, was down by contact, and then, but what people don't realize is if you go to the ground, you have to survive the ground. So he probably figured, oh, I'm down on the ground. I'll just kind of like relinquish the ball a little bit, and the defensive back ripped it out of his hand. Well, guess what? That's in the process of going to the ground. You know what I mean? That was an incident.
From the explanations I heard is that he did not have full control of the ball. Thus, the ball was in play. The ball never hit the ground. Thus, it's an interception. That's what I was explained. And I guess that makes the most sense. In my eyes, when I first looking at it, not being a referee, I thought it would have been just an incomplete pass. He didn't have control of the ball. It was wrestled out. You know,
but it never touched the ground.
That's again, not being a ref, not thinking about that part.
I mean, it was a great play by him.
If it was against the Eagles, I'd be like freaking out right now, most likely. But it was called well. I mean, listen, the Bills made some bad defensive mistakes at the end. They got
the last 2 penalties against Tre'Davious White. The one that was inside the 5-yard line. Yeah, I could see that because he did start to bring him down. I mean, but that's on review.
It was like one of those things. It was like a second or two too early.
Right. But the one before that they flagged him on, that was horseshit. That was a simple hand check. He hand checked him and they threw a flag for pass interference. I was like, give me a break. So
I don't. It was a great call. I mean, it was, and like honestly, at first I was a little confused by it, but now once it was explained to me that way, it made a lot of sense. Morning everyone for Tacoma, Washington. Mickey, what is going on, bud? I mean, I gotta love Mickey. The man gets up early.
Top of the morning to you, Mick.
Earlier than the rest of us to do this. So good morning, Mickey. And how's the weather out there? Because right now, if you guys are in the Delaware Valley area, it is starting to snow again after yesterday's kind of roller coaster ride of weather emotions. It is now snowing. I know we're supposed to get a little bit more accumulation today than they did yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hence the snowy background here in the studio. And then Soldier Steve. What's up, going? Steve Fuentes or Fernandez, depending on who you talk to. Either Stidham, May, or Stroud will be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Wild year for the NFL.
I'll tell you what. You know, I think I don't know why, and I think the Bears Rams game tonight is going to be really really electric. But you know what? I would not be surprised if we end up seeing a Patriots Bears Super Bowl. I would not be surprised if you were to see that. Because, like, I mean, I think if the Bears win this game, which they very well could, like, a lot of people are counting the Bears out in this game.
Yeah.
Like, Matthew Stafford is like horrible in Detroit. He's like 1-9 in his career there. So there's something to be said about that. Nasty weather. Again, supposed to be going through the area. Okay. Again, like I just don't, and I think that Houston and New England game, dude, take the under in that game. Whatever the under is, take it, because that defense for Houston is going
I
to
never
give.
watch it just become some sort of gunslinger. Like it's like one of those things that it shoulda, coulda, but not woulda. It's just it could happen, and that's
it could
the
happen.
NFL.
I mean, look, we already had the high scoring game with the Denver and the Bills. Okay. You had your defensive and blowout game with the 49ers and the Seahawks. So I'm thinking today they're going to be two kind of competitive. I think you're going to get your low scoring game with New England and Houston. And then I think, the game of the week is going to be the Bears and the Rams. I think that's going to be, and I think the Rams get beat again. I do. I'm not sold on their defense plays well at times, but the one thing,
a little Jekyll and Hyde, their team.
Yes, they are, and their offense can go cold too.
Yeah,
and one thing I've noticed with them, they've been doing a lot of, what the hell is it? The 13 set with the three tight ends.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
well, I mean that, but they don't run it enough with that. He used to live in Olympia, Washington.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Speaking of Soldier Steve, I don't know if it's this Friday or next Friday. Steve, remind me. He might be joining me on Friday evening. My first guest of the Philly Friday. Well, it was called the Philly Friday Frenzy, but I renamed it this week for the Philly Friday Freakout after the whole Boba Shed thing, which we will be touching on. Trust me, you.
Bye.
Rob thinks the Bears will win. Got a feel for Bo Nix. That was my next thing.
No, I don't.
Diabetes help. Howdy, diabetes. But it's funny. I think you got two guys who have diabetes that you're talking to. But got a feel for Bo Nix. So for those who didn't know, and what a way, like, so last night, and I'll get Mike. I want to get your take on this. I'm watching the game. I was actually tuning into our friend Phil Stifles. He was doing a late live watch along with the end of the Broncos game into the Niners and Seahawks game. And I'm watching along. I'm commenting along. We're discussing things about how things go down. We were discussing a lot about the Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, love versus no love, which we are already talking about here. But and then all of a sudden my Twitter goes off and it's Adam Schefter. Bo Nix suffers season-ending injury, and he's out. And I had to click on his account twice to make sure I wasn't getting punked, because then I'm like, and I put it into the chat, and I was kind of breaking the news to them, because it was literally as I was looking at it, it popped up on my screen. It just Schefter thing just hit. Wow, I mean, you do have to feel for Bo Nix. I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't voting against Josh Allen and the Bills as much as I just want to see maybe a new guard win it this year. And I like Bo Nix. I can see them. He's one of the. You want to know why I like Bo Nix? I'll tell you what. I kind of feel the Eagles and Bo Nix, and the Eagles and the Broncos, and the Eagles' offense and defensive woes, not exactly the same, but you had a high-powered defense keeping an offense that could score, but not score on demand. I mean, how many games did the Broncos win? 12-9. It was really low scoring. It was just the defense kept him in there. But there was a big defensive game for Bo Nix and the team yesterday. And I mean, listen, he hit some offensive plays too when he had to. Don't get me wrong. But and I'm not saying Jalen Hurts had the same kind of offensive output this year. But again, it was a big defensive game. Yet Bo Nix got the praise, and I kind of compared it a little bit, and then that came about. What were your first reactions to Bo Nix and this injury that happened in the second to last play of the game, might I add?
Yeah, like tell me about it, right? Like they're lining up, getting ready to kick a field goal, and the guy breaks his ankle. But you gotta give him credit; he stayed in there for the extra play just to do the kneel down. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's bad. I mean, now you're going to get Stidham, but now if you really take a look, you're going to really, you're going to see now. Like if you didn't think that they're going to, if you don't think that they're going to not run the ball now. That now you're going to get a heavy dosage of Harvey and McLean.
Mhm.
So going forward, high winners.
I
Oh,
think
whiners.
are we the whiners? Are you talking about the 40 whiners?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, Mike. Social media wise, especially on my Twitter, I got pounded about anything. I had things from weeks ago get the 49ers come on after they beat us last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fans just jumping all
Some
over us.
some of them were cool. Like I went back and forth with a few people on Twitter.
Most of them were just like, "Oh, this didn't, this didn't age well." Shit.
Yeah.
Um, but
Oh, that's
my
the
point
best
is
thing.
like I don't know how they got so cocky, knowing that a you just lost one of your biggest pieces of your offense after in our game, and then b um you know that like, you kind of use the term you're on borrowed time or house money or whatever it is. That I mean, it's one thing to get like to feel enthusiastic, but I mean, because everybody did pick the Eagles, they were not the favorites by any which way, and they
I
won.
mean,
And
listen. Last week was all about you know their coach being able to scheme those guys open and get those guys open, and it was our uh you know this was our coaches not being able to scheme our offensive guys open and
mhm.
get down the field. So that's what it was. And you got to tip your cap. Yes, they were playing with their fourth and fifth string linebackers. I mean, they signed Eric Kendricks literally a week and a half ago off the street to come in and
And he was
play.
like a defensive
I
star
mean,
against us.
yeah, right, exactly. And so you got to give credit where credit's due to that. Now, do I want to hear all those the Niner fans yapping? Because the last two times they've came in here, they've pretty much beat us.
Mhm.
We got a tail kicking, and then they survived this time. So again, you just got to kind of swallow it, tip your cap, and to them. But
Listen,
like,
listen. The Eagles have a lot of nobody gets away with any um blame at all in these games. There was drop passes. There was Jalen Hurts moments where Jalen Hurts was not Jalen Hurts. The play calling was terrible. The rest of the coaching all could be looking at. Even the defense didn't play that well. The only reason I might give the defense more of a pass is they had been burnt out. They had probably more mileage on them than any of the other top defenses in the league at this point, because this offense couldn't just not keep anybody on the field long enough to give them a breath and also score a point. I said to you last week, the Eagles have to just score points, keep the offense on they had to play. The offense had to play better. You know what I mean? Like they didn't
mhm.
have to put up 50 points, but you had to put up more than 17 points or whatever the final score, 60, whatever the final score was for the Eagles. If you can't score 21 or more points in a playoff game, you might as well not show up half the time. Like that's how I look at it. I don't care how good your defense is. Sooner or later, they're going to break down. Sooner or later, big plays are going to come, especially in the playoffs. You're not getting the Raiders in the playoffs. You're not getting the Commanders or the Giants in the playoffs. You're getting even guys who even teams, if you look at them, like who probably shouldn't have been there, but made it in because of the way the playoff structure. Take the Panthers, for instance, happens, and that's what happened. But the Eagles have this is probably going to be one of the toughest off seasons for Howie and the Eagles, and not just because what do you do with certain guys who want to get signed, certain guys. There's a lot of signings you got to have. You got to make some decisions on players. I still have a big question. You guys in the chat can comment along, and Mike, your points, but I think there's a chance Lane Johnson could be done.
Mm, I think I think he's going to play out his contract. He's got 2 more years. I think he plays that out and then he goes. But I strongly suggest that they start giving the kid Hinton if he comes back healthy this year.
Mhm.
In the offseason, I strongly suggest he replaces Tyler Steen at right guard. We cannot go into another season with Tyler Steen at right guard. He is just horrible. He got bullied. a lot this year. And you know what? I mean, maybe too. You know, this offensive line can actually get healthy. Like if I'm, you know, Cam Jurgens, thanks for the invite to the Pro Bowl. Go rest. Go
Mm-hmm.
rest up. I mean, you got to remember, dude. They played every. They played the very last game of the season last year, and
Yeah.
there is something to be said about that. Like
Yeah, I mean, listen,
I,
there's part of licking the wounds. There's part of
you
things
know,
where, I mean, Dickerson's a guy who has had extensive injuries throughout college and football, but yet has Iron Man his way through a lot of that stuff. But did that catch up with him between having a long season, between having, just and listen, I really think there was some locker room issues. I really think that and I read an article late Friday afternoon about from Brandon Lee Gouton over at Bleeding Green Nation that had discussed different how AJ Brown had requested multiple times to be traded throughout the season. So I'm sure that's causing some rifts in the locker room. Team Hurts versus Team AJ, and then are they believing what Nick Petullo was selling them, or were they believing what Nick Sirianni was selling them? Did they believe that the defense could do enough to keep them going and the offense could wake up? Because there was some words by Saquon that really made me feel that that's how the team was operating. That once we hit the playoffs, we'll wake up again. And if you can't do it by week 18, I don't know if week 19 or 20 is going to make a big difference. But real quick, I want to just touch on these. In the last, I always look at things. I'm going to look at the trending topics and talk about what people are looking at. But from the Eagles' standpoint, just some small news that you might have missed in the 24 hours. So one of the comments during the press conference, and I know a lot of people were just blasting the Eagles, especially Nick Sirianni at the press conference, but that Howie Roseman and saying that it is technically or Nick Sirianni is technically leading the coaching, the OC search, but Howie's also and Sirianni said that the OC will have autonomy over the offense.
Yeah.
Are they just admitting what we already know?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be like, people were kind of saying, hey, we want somebody to come in here and we need the Vic Fangio of the offense, where this guy just comes in and takes over the offense. If you don't know, I was put out a little earlier. Sometime this week, they're going to meet with Mike McDaniel, the Miami coach. So I got a feeling if he doesn't get a head coaching job, which I don't think he will get a head coaching job, he's a guy that's going to have to come back, be a coordinator for a couple of years, I think, before he's going to get another job.
Speaking of one of the ones that people were talking about, I don't think he was high on the list, but Stefanski, if you didn't notice, he got snagged up by the Falcons.
Yeah, well, that was rumored.
Yeah,
that was rumored.
I think Stefanski got a little bit of a pass because it was the Browns. The Browns is the organization. Just like people are saying Robert Saleh should get a head coaching opportunity.
I've been hearing his name a lot with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing his name a lot with the Raiders. But here's the thing, though. Like, if you listen to certain people, like, they're saying that really that, like Max Crosby wants out. Like, if you really want to go and if AJ Brown wants to be traded, I'll go make that dude a Raider. I'll send you my superstar. You send me yours.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Well, my question: if you're Robert Saleh or any guy who just like Stefanski, anybody who came from, let's call it a trash can organization, because that's what they are right now. Call me an ass, whatever you want to call me, but they're just garbage. They're just all over the place. There's no coherence. You go in there, it's almost like you're being set up to fail. Do you really go from the Jets to the Raiders?
Yeah, I would, because they have
that head coaching opportunity.
Well, no, it's not only that. I mean, you got to take a look, man. Like the Raiders got a lot of money to spend. They have a ton.
I thought they didn't.
Money.
I thought they had a lot less money.
No. They got. They're pretty.
They're financial issues or something. That maybe the owner is or something.
Hold on. What's it?
Let's see. Here we go. Amy Craig Scarduzio. Am I saying that right? Amy Craig Scarduzio.
Mm-hmm.
49ers got their ass kicked in. Yes, they did. Ha, ha, ha. Their dancing team and fans got what they deserve, and Purdy sucks. We will We will retool and get back to the Super Bowl. Go Birds, everybody. Hey, thank you for chiming in. And if anybody else, I know a lot of you guys already do, but if you haven't, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way. I made a joke because we're talking about the OC.
Yeah,
Friday.
I'm not to cut you off for a second. I'm literally looking at the top team, the cap spaces coming into next year. Raiders are at 82 million
No,
400.
I know you're saying cap space, but I'm hearing that I heard that there's like financial issues with the ownership
Oh well,
that they
maybe
may not be willing to pay big deals, but I could be wrong. I could be misreading that, but
yeah, it's I'm actually looking for next year or for 2026.
mhm.
They're number 2 effective cap space right now. They are at their cap space is 82, but their effective cap space is around 70. So
Okay.
if you believe it or not, it's like the third highest. It goes from second to cap space, then effective cap space. They're second. The Chargers kind of sneak in above them a little bit, but the top one is the Titans. The Titans got $81 million that they can go out and actively spend. The Eagles, by hand, their active cap rate right now is like six million.
Yeah. So kind of go with Amy said here. Everybody thinks the Eagles were retooled. I believe they very much well can. I said, would it be funny if they did pick up Brian Daboll as the OC, go to the Super Bowl and win? It would be another Giants cast off that brought the Eagles another Super Bowl. Would that just be salt in the wound, Mike Laro, at that point?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And it would piss my son off because my son's so happy. Our friend Pudgy Mike, also from the Pudgy Boys Sports Podcast, they are so ecstatic about getting John Harbaugh, which I think is a very good signing for them. I really do.
I'm not saying it's not a good signing.
What's up, Sean?
To be honest with you, I'm not saying it's not a good signing. I think it's an overrating sign. I think they're overrating the situation. Now, here's my thing is, if John Harbaugh's clout helps out in the sense that because their GM is just horrible. They pick good players, but I don't know if they pick good players that fit the right scheme, or they don't work on well. I don't know what it is. The Giants just fail in a lot of different areas. Throwing $100 million at Harbaugh, and let me just be honest with you. And I'm not hating on Harbaugh, but I look at it this way: of all the heat that me and you have to defend ourselves, especially from some people in this whole own network here, calling us homers. What's a reverse homer? A hater? Homers and haters.
Should make that a show.
For everything the haters throw at the homers, that's John Harbaugh. If John Harbaugh had the same success that he had in the Ravens, and then we'd be like, good, see you later. We're done with you. We're tired of tripping at the finish line. We're tired of not even getting close to the finish line. Because I did a whole thing on Friday. I'm like, if you look at it, he has not won a Super Bowl since 2012. That's 14 years ago, Mike. 14 years. He went to one AFC championship game maybe in 6 to 8 years between that time, since that time. And other than that, it has been no playoff, a loss in the first round in the wild card, or maybe a loss in the divisional round.
Well, here's the thing. He kind of
and hold on. He's had Lamar Jackson. He's had a really good offensive weapons. He's had a really good defenses behind him. Yet they kept falling. Why? What is he like? Why is the love for John Harbaugh as much as it is? When if he was in Philly at this point, we'd probably be like, it's time for a change.
Right. Well, here's the thing. People in Baltimore are saying that now. Like what you're saying, people who follow the Ravens are like, look, it's time for a change. He's got to go. But it's a good hire for the Giants because, and this is why I'm saying it's going to be a good hire, is because they need a culture change up there.
Sure.
They lost their way from being preeminent playoff and Super Bowl contending team to mediocrity, okay? And you need somebody who's going to come up there. Like, if they would have got just one of the hot coordinators, their culture wouldn't have changed, okay? They needed a guy with a presence who's been around the block, okay? And this is why I feel like Harbaugh is a really good pick for for the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be much maligned. They're going to be much better just for the simple fact of they do have a young quarterback. They got a nice young running back. They have a nice young wide receiver. So they got the three, and they got a pretty damn good tight end, too, in Theo Johnson. So they have the pieces in play there. They just got to draft some more, get their offensive line, which, by the way, now one of their guys, one of their top free agents, is going to be Tyler Lindenbaum. Lindenbaum's a free agent. He played for Harbaugh. He'll probably follow him to New York. Again, what we used to laugh about the Giants was, oh, yeah, you guys got all these great players, but you got no line to protect them. Well, now they're starting to build up that line. If you really take a look,
they've actually been putting into the line, but they haven't produced it. They haven't nurtured it. They haven't grown it. So I'm not saying he doesn't boost them, but I think Giants fans need to pump their brakes. How the coach makes that big of a difference, and then when the Eagles fan, as soon as he became available, fire Nick Sirianni and put him in.
I saw that too. I
said, put Nick Sirianni's 5 years up against Harbaugh's last 5 years, and see if you still want the same. And I even said to Matty B on Friday, I said, listen, if I came to you 5 years ago after that final game, Doug P and all them, last coached and Carson last played, and I said, if I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, listen, in the next 5 years, you're going to make the playoffs every year, you're going to go to the Super Bowl twice, and you're going to win it, they'd be sign me up. But now it's not enough. That makes me laugh. But we're getting a little behind on comments here. So real quick, Sean saying the 49ers need to make a change at general manager. Do the 49ers need to make a change at general manager and move on from John Lynch? I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know the answer to that.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna kind of bite back on this comment too. Like, you really can't say he's not a good general manager when his team, who was decimated by injuries all year long, made it to the second round of the playoffs. I mean, like, let's be real here. There was no team hit harder in the NFL this year with injuries than the 49ers. And they went 12-5 or 13-4 or something in the regular season. Like, I mean, come on. And they got a playoff win. So, no, I don't think they're going to move on from John Lynch. I think he's done a pretty damn good job. If you look at it, literally in the NFC, the last 5 years, it's been three teams. It's been the Rams, the Eagles, and the Niners. That's it. I say he's doing a pretty damn good job out there.
Ryan saying, need a complete overhaul in philosophy, not allowing any coaches such as Nick or players, Jalen, etc., to have a say on the OC. Need a true vet, one with pedigree, who is all about making adjustments, motions, and audibles, creativity about confusing and making teams off balance and overthink. So I'm going to agree with parts of his, Rye. I listen, you have to have some say. I think everybody has to have a little, has to feel like they're on board with who they're working with. I want to put in, I don't care if you guys feel, I know one of the big things everybody's saying that we need is a coach who's going to be here past 1 year. I really don't care. It's played out well for us, for those who haven't. I just want the best person available to fix the problem. I don't think they need a complete overhaul or a change in their philosophy. I think there just needs to be there's some issues in the locker room, I believe. And I think part of it's A.J. Brown and his vocalization. I think part of it's Jalen Hurts and his non-vocalization. It's like if we could find an equal medium between the two of them, we'd be okay. I would like a vet as well, but it's more about the last sentence here. I agree with creativity and confusing and making teams feel off balance and overthink. Yeah, Ryan, that's what we want. It was a very plain Jane. Here's my thing is, I don't think you can hire Mike, and tell me if I'm wrong or not. The Eagles just don't have the ability to hire from within for a guy who's never did the OC, never called a play at all, because we know our guy can't do it. We know Nick Sirianni cannot call plays. He really can't. No matter what we think or say, he might be able to look and help plan, but in moment feel for the game, I don't think Nick Sirianni has. So if you have a guy who's a first timer like Kevin Patullo, who I just feel like if he went somewhere else, he would have a better chance of succeeding. Who could step in and say that, Kev, you got to stop calling each play individually and have a few plays drawn up based on what could happen, like a chess match, like be a couple plays ahead, and like Ryan just said, have some trickery, have some things that make the eyes move and keep your eye on the ball, like watch my left hand, but my right hand's going to get you. But yeah, it's just you can't hire from within because who's going to back you up? That's the problem. He was on an island on his own.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, "Well, they did it after the 23 season. They hired from within." Well, that's because they went and got Jalen's guy.
Mhm.
Okay, and Jalen's guy couldn't adapt.
But they hired somebody who never called plays before.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Johnson. Johnson didn't
Yeah.
call plays, so
Yeah.
now, but
And you have nobody to back him up.
But here's the thing. Now they go and do it again this year. But this time they kind of were smart. The quarterback's coach, forgetting his name, but he was a head coach in college and he called the offense. So he knew how to call plays. So I'm not buying into, I think Petula was a scapegoat for this because sooner or later, how many more coordinators are you going to bring in that they have to retail their offense to Jalen Hurts? Like Hurts is supposed to be a quarterback. All right.
Yes.
Granted. Now I get it. He's had a ton of offensive coordinators. Okay. All I got to say is this. If quarterbacks go through different, coordinators, but Jalen's game still seems to be the same. Like it's really how many more our offensive coordinators are we going to have to go in here that when they get here, they're going to have to tailor to his limits. You see what I'm saying?
That's what a good offensive coordinator does. I mean, I listen. Jalen Hurts in no way is a perfect quarterback.
No, he's listen,
but no quarterback is. No quarterback is. There's ones that are better, have less notable, foibles, whatever you want to call them. And Jalen Hurts, there's good and there's bad with his game, and sometimes you just got to make sure the good outweighs the bad. But that's what a good OC does. You're supposed to take what you have and make it happen. It's not the scheme, then the players. It's the player. It's the personnel, then the scheme. It's the way I coach. I can't. I have an idea of my playbook looks like, but until I know who I have to run that playbook, well, I got a guy who can't pass for a worth of crap as a quarterback. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I ain't throwing the ball very often. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. You're going to be put in situations as a good defensive coordinator will. They are going to take away what you do well. And again,
you have to be able to plan for that. Yeah,
you have to be able to plan for that. This is what I'm saying. They didn't plan for that. Okay, and I think Jalen, and I've been one of his biggest backers. Trust me. Like I said, you can go back on our old Devereaux sports page with me and Pat when they drafted him. I said he would lead the Eagles to a Lombardi because I truly believe that guy really does go out and work on his game. But his willingness to not throw over the middle deep, okay, is something that it's well spread now. Okay, so when you are going to when you're sitting there, that's why do you think the middle of the field's wide open with him? Because they know he's not going to throw it past 20 yards down the middle of the field.
Well, here's the thing: is look at it from this point of view. Kellen Moore, right?
Mm-hmm.
He threw over the middle of the field, not as much, but he did. He picked his opportunities. I mean, in the Super Bowl, the well-known Devontae Smith kind of like nail in the coffin touchdown pass. That was deep and down the middle, right? Nobody's going to deny that. That's one of the most popular ones. But, I mean, he knew how to do it and draw it up. That it wasn't just about throwing it over the middle. It's about drawing up a scheme that pulls everybody out of the middle and being able to do it. See, that's the difference. The offensive scheme is not about making sure Jalen gets it down the middle. So that's two players. No, it's about making sure the other players are doing their jobs and pulling people away from the middle, which gives him more comfort to do so. I'm not going to sit here and be an apologist, but I'm saying that's what you do. If a guy has a weakness, you have to be able to scheme up things that pull the weak. Make it hard for you just to attack the weakness. Like, how many times did we hear, going into the Giants game, right? Mm-hmm. Going into the Giants game, all we heard is their defensive line's beat up. They should be able to run the ball. The offensive line should be able to play better. They're on third-string guys. They're not going to be able to block. All that stuff, right? But it didn't come. They were able to still do it. Why were they able to still do it? Because they schemed right for it. That's what happened.
Yeah, but listen, you could scheme until the cows come home. Like your quarterback's got to go put the effort in to get better at throwing down the middle.
Agreed.
Like that's the only way that that's the only way that you're gonna free up your outside receivers is if you start taking more shots down the middle, which means like if I'm Jalen Hurts right now, I'm getting 5 of my closest friends or 5, barrels, I don't care, making it, and I'm not throwing anywhere other than in between those barrels and make it a tight space. Like that's what I would be practicing on. That's a part of his game that's not good, but he's not developing that game. This is where I say you have to put some blame on this offense on the quarterback's limitations.
100%.
Because
I'm not disagreeing with you on that point. And here's my thing is, again, I don't know if it's A or B in this case. I don't know if it's A that
I think it's both. I think it's both. I mean, because he's not used to being a play caller. Okay, but our quarterback is not getting better either in the areas where he needs to get better.
Yeah.
Well, damn it, listen, I look Jalen Hurts in the face and go, okay, you don't want to run the ball? Then you better make, 18 out of 20 passes in the middle of this field.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, make 18 to 20. You start making 18 out of 20 in practice with coverage in there, then we'll talk about you not running anymore. Until then, yeah, then you can put your running into your back pocket. He's not good enough to put it into his back pocket. I'm not saying Hurts isn't a good quarterback because he is, but for him to be elite, he's got to start getting better in the areas where he knows he's not good at. Okay, and guess what? I don't care what anybody says. If you practice enough, you will get better. Like it's like
you can get better.
That's why they always say practice.
Confidence builder too.
Yes.
I mean, and listen, you can practice all you want. It's until you get it a couple times games, like a guy in a slump, like a basketball player who is bricking things left and right. You got to watch it go in the hoop. You don't just shy away from it. I want to catch up with a couple of comments here. Sean Kilrain saying, fun fact, the Broncos were the only team in the NFL whose backup QB did not attempt a single pass this season. Another fun fact, the Broncos were the only team in the NFL whose backup QB did not attempt a single pass last season. That's right.
Well, that's going to change.
Stidham has not thrown a pass in the NFL since 2023. Let that soak in. Speaking of QB, speaking of Harbaugh, Reed was the same thing here. He left when he went to KC and he won with a great quarterback. Yeah, like it's, sometimes it's time for a change in that sense. Hold on, I think we passed over this. It's good hire for the Giants as an organization. Actually got a proven HC who is respected in the league. So the Giants, this is a good considering their track record. I agree with that. Like I think kind of like the Eagles, people are saying we don't want an OC who's never done it before. I think you want an HC who had some credibility and who could probably push back on ownership and general manager to help.
Especially with that. Well, that's what he. That was the one thing that made him sign with the Giants. He said, "Look, I want my own staff," which means Todd Monken's probably going to go up there, and also look out for too. Might be a little reuniting with Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale currently at University of Michigan right now. I think if Harbaugh goes up there, Wink is well loved in that building. Wink also was a defensive coordinator for John Harbaugh. So watch for maybe another reunion with Wink Martindale going back to New York. And if that's the case, that defense is going to get turned around if they bring Wink back.
And here's the thing is, I don't think the deal has been done 100% with Harbaugh. Everybody's talking like it's a done deal. But from what I understand, they're still working out details. And they're hoping to announce it by Tuesday. This could ultimately blow up in the Giants' face, and this whole John Harbaugh
conversation. Can you imagine that? Because
watch check on all your Giants fans. Check on all your Giants fans friends. Health.
And if he leaves, can you imagine? Say he leaves there and goes to say Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up going to Tennessee or something like that.
Oh my God! Not maybe, I don't know.
Hey, listen. If he wants a quarterback that's almost like Lamar Jackson, you want to go down there with Cam Ward?
I want nothing like Lamar. I think Lamar Jackson's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. One of the most overrated quarterbacks. Sean's also say Stidham would be the first NFL quarterback to start in the conference championship round or later after not throwing a single pass during the regular season.
That means his first one's going to be an interception.
Yeah. Off topic, Mike. Is Mike a Delco guy? You want to answer that one for Rob?
I was sworn in as a Delco guy, but I wasn't born.
By me, by the way. By me.
I was not born and raised here. No, I am from Philadelphia. I'm from the Kensington section of Philadelphia. So yes, I am a Kenzo. Born and raised.
Ryan saying exactly, Mike. I think he was when we were talking about Jalen.
Oh yeah.
And then, yeah, that's true. I guess he was agreeing with both of us. Do you think Hurts is an elite quarterback? The ultimate question.
Elite. No, I think he's a good quarterback. He's not elite, but
Yeah,
can he become elite? Yes, but he's got to put the work in.
Can he play elite? Yeah, I think he can. Is he a constant elite quarterback? No, and I don't think anybody's ever said that. Like, well, no, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I have some power light issues back here because my wife likes to forget. I think he can be elite. Just times he doesn't play elite. So does that mean? I guess that kind of does make you an elite quarterback. But hold on. You answer the question. I got to go take care of the power issue. Hold on.
Oh Jesus, poor Al. Yeah. So me personally, I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's elite. I think he has to, just get better at his areas of deficiency. Now, do I think he can get better at those? Yes, but is Jalen willing to put the work in? Because before, we heard about the rent is due. He had all these positive sayings about what he needs to do to get better. But the thing is, I kind of feel like after he got the bag a little bit and now he got the MVP a little bit, Head kind of got a little egotistical a little bit. I've seen that so far this year with Jalen.
I've actually said that I don't know if it was Jalen or the team in whole that the Kevin Patullo, like, we don't really need to go find another great OC. We know what we're doing. We're championship bound no matter what. It was a little bit of a hubris hiring, a little bit of like we got this. We were okay. Do you find ironic that Hurts decides to throw the ball down the middle in triple coverage on the last play of all times to throw down the middle finally? Yeah. I mean, that's a good point too. And again, like, people are on him. And let me ask you this question. Part of the argument has been with Jalen, Mike, is that play call and he didn't push back when the play call was called in. And it looked like he did he was conversating. You can't really tell what Jalen, he's not an animated kind of guy who would make like oh, come on, we can't call that, right? Like, you don't see that in his face. He could have been questioning it or he could have been discussing it. We don't know. We weren't in the huddle. But
listen, no, if I'm the new OC, like I come in, I'm treating Jalen like a rookie. Like, listen, you gonna run what I call. I understand, yeah, you're a Super Bowl MVP, but this is my offense. All right. And I this is what I want from you. Okay. If I see that you're able to change the play, like, I would give him the freedom to change the play. But if he changes it to something that's going to be worse and that he's missing, then no. Like, then you would have to take it away from him. Like, no, I gave you the freedom. Like, I think you start out giving him the freedom to audible out of his plays because he's been around long enough where he can do that. But if he's not showing the results, that you need to see, and he's still missing guys that are not that are open. But again, go back and watch some of Baldy's breakdowns on some of these games this year where he's had a window of opportunity to throw the ball and he just doesn't do it. So he's got to get better at that. If not, then they'll be moving on from him like they did with Wentz, and we'll be right back in the same thing, looking for a different quarterback.
Hey, a little, not exactly Eagles news, but Adam Schefter just tweeted out Cleveland's defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is scheduled to interview for a second time Monday with the Browns regarding their HC position.
Oh, I called that. Well, me and Paul were talking about that not this past year.
I think they have to. I'm telling you, I think a lot of people, there's so many openings that teams like the Browns, like the Titans, and Jets and all, they're just looking at, they're probably like, we're going to have to take who's willing to take us because there's so many openings. And some people, it's really hard to want to walk in to a mess like these teams have created, at least with listen, I think the Eagles and Lions OC jobs are more sexy than most HC jobs right now for most people. Ryan saying Phillies have tried to keep same players with different coaches, but try to change the player and make them more patient and see more pitches. Well, guess what? It only lasts so long before they revert back to who they really are. Not actually find players who do what they want and seek, force them into something they're not. I get what he's saying, and you can teach these guys, right? But I agree with you. I mean, we're going to talk about the Phillies in a minute. I want to hit up the rest of these comments and then jump into that. But the same idea is you should be able to work on your plate discipline because they did at times and it worked when they worked on their plate discipline. But yeah, when the rubber meets the road, sometimes they revert back to their old
ways.
old
Yeah, I
ways.
mean, listen, I'm looking at the head coaching vacancies right now. You got 9 head coaching vacancies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, you got the Steelers, the Falcons, Ravens, Dolphins, Browns, Giants, Cardinals, Raiders, and Titans. So, I mean, if they're going to interview Jim Schwartz, one, he was head coach before. He was a head coach in Detroit. So, and he'll have that defense ready to play. Hopefully, he's smart enough to go get himself a really good offensive coordinator and say, dude, you handle that. I'll handle the defense. But here's another name, too, to keep in track of that Giants for defensive coordinator, too. Raheem Morris. Keep an eye on that because if they can't get Wink to come back to join Harbaugh, look for Raheem Morris, who also coached under Harbaugh as well. So,
and I agree with Rob's point here, and it's probably been my stance on Hurts the whole time is stats aren't the factor. It's just he keeps winning. I mean, yes, he does find a way to win, and that's why people makes Jalen Hurts makes almost the best from a sports talk conversation. Mike is like the best quarterback in that sense because even though he wins Super Bowls, you can criticize him because it's not typical. I referred to Jalen Hurts like a really good knuckleball pitcher. It looks weird. It doesn't always come out the way you think it's supposed to, but it's effective nonetheless. That's kind of how I look at it.
Right.
And real quick, I'm gonna hit some more of these comments, but I want to just mention we talked about OCs and all that stuff. Apparently, the Eagles have requested interviews from Jim Bob Cooter, which we all know him from the Lions, as well as the offensive coordinator for the for Indiana or for the Colts, Indianapolis, I should say. And then they also have interviewed Mike Kafka. But another person we might worry about losing, speaking of defensive coordinators, defensive line coach Clint Hurt will be coaching the Senior Bowl, potentially causing him to become another future head coach or maybe defensive coordinator somewhere else. And the Buccaneers have interviewed Michael Clay for the same job that he had here. So that's kind of the bigger news that's been popping out. And again, of course, the AJ Brown. Apparently, there's rumors that Brandon Graham wants to come back next year. Guess that's a conversation for another day we can have.
Wow.
And that's that's
how I let him come back. Listen, if Brandon Graham wants to come back, he look in the short limited span he was here. He played. You know what I mean? He wasn't. I mean, he's not great. He's going to be assistant. Like right now, he's kind of the. He's kind of like our version of Von Miller. Von Miller goes to a different team every year trying to chase a ring. So
does Bryce Harper print another not elite shirt and give it to Jalen?
Yes,
and let him work off season with it, he's been working off season. Let's hit some of these comments because we got to touch on those Philadelphia Phillies a little bit.
Yes.
It's 5 minutes to an hour, or we're 55 minutes into it. We have not done it, so I have to see the effort on Hurts when he keeps changing new offensive coordinators every year. I have to see it have effect on Hurts when he does, and it does work for. I mean, listen, look at him with Kellen, look with him with Steichen. He was loose. Everybody was loose. So obviously they knew how to get the best out of him. Kevin Patullo was just worried about play calling. There's more to OCing than just play calling. If that's the case, I think they showed that Jalen does not have the power to change the play in the huddle. And I didn't take over any play calling versus Minnesota like a lot of us thought. You're still a great guy, Mike, even though you grew up in Philly.
Don't hate.
Not just Philly. He grew up in real Philly. K&A, bro. That's real Philly right there.
Listen,
was using the Phils in regards about Hurts. No, right. We understand 100% what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And it was a good comparison.
Hold on, before you get to the next comment, I just want to let him know, hey, listen, the only difference between Delconians and Kenzos are grass. You guys get grass houses. We have concrete. Other than that, it's the same.
It's not much different. Well, we always used to say the difference between Delco and Northeast Philadelphia, because we always had that argument with Pat and argument with Matty B about it. It said it's just the angle that you look at Center City from. We just look at it from a different angle. Everything else is the same.
Yeah.
Evan Laurel, I know this guy. Giants winning the division, best QB, best coach, best D line, best wide receiver. Y'all bums are done. Love you, pops. Yo, is Evan on a new harder drugs lately?
No. Listen. He's like every other Giants fan. He's stoked. Now, like you said earlier, like you know that it's not finalized yet. So yeah. I don't want to see it happen, but for Evan's sake, I don't. Oh, listen, I will tell you, if that does happen, if Harbaugh plays the Giants to get a better deal somewhere else, and that happens, I will put you on the three-way call that I have with him. You think anybody's going to offer him more than $200 million? I doubt it. I mean, I think he's going to be there. Like I said, but I'm sorry. I agree with my son to a certain extent. Like this whole best thing. He's not the best coach in the division. Like that's got to be proven. Like, there's a difference between playing the AFC North and the NFC East. Okay. In the NFC North, okay, you get 2 bum teams a year. Okay. In the NFC North, whether it's Pittsburgh taking a turn being a bum, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. They all take turns being a bum along with the Browns. Okay. And then when the Browns get good, one of the other 2 teams falter. Here in this division, it's something. And I will say that even when they're not having good years, the division, it's always tight, competitive games. There's never
he's right. Evan is right. It is actually official. I guess it happened like yesterday afternoon. I missed it. Okay. So it is official. All right, cool. So it is official. So you guys can breathe a sigh of relief until nothing changes. Sorry, I had to throw it in there. But real quick, let's hit a couple more of these because we got to touch on the Phillies. Hurts is the reason this team wins 90% of the time, although he gets the credit. He is not the reason. I'm sorry. It's the team winning, not Hurts. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm going to push back on that one a little bit. You can't get. It's kind of like when people push back on the what's it called? Tomper situation. If the Phillies are winning, it's not Tomper. If the Phillies are losing, it's Tomper. You can't say that. He is the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, we have a really good team around him, but show me a team that does well that doesn't have a really good team around him. Right? Look at the playoffs now. They're going to bring up the Seahawks. Have a really good team around him. Is Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold is playing above Sam Darnold's normal levels, but he also has Cooper Kupp out there with him. He's a good offensive line, and he's a stellar defense. He's got JSN. JSN's one of the best receivers in football. Yeah, and he's got 2 stud running backs in Walker and Charbonnet. He's also got Barner's an up-and-coming tight end. I'm getting annoyed with this conversation. It's like, that's my point. I'm not sitting here telling you that Jalen Hurts is the best. But every good winning team has good winning players. There's 11 dudes on the field at any point in time, sometimes 12, depending on the kickoff and it's windy. But 11 dudes at any time on the field. And if all 11 guys aren't playing effectively or better, then that team's in trouble. Dude, I'm going to bring up a guy that everybody's on, Matthew Stafford. They are on him like something fierce. Now, you mean to tell me he don't have a good team around him? He's got Nakua on one wideout, Devontae Adams on another wideout. Right there. Nakua's enough right there. I'm not even done yet. He's got Williams and Corum running the football. Then he's got 2 stellar tight ends in Higbee and Parkinson. So he's got a stacked roster around him too. But nobody ever penalizes Stafford for having that team. They're just a good team. That's a great offense. But they never did. Every time people throw the word homer around, I got to throw the word hater around because at this point it's starting to sound a little hater-ish. It is. Because you can't tell me he doesn't have anything to do with it. He can't tell me. They bring up quarterbacks who won Super Bowls, because the team was really good, but the defense, like Peyton Manning's last Super Bowl, he was bad. He was benched for Brock Osweiler at one point in that season. And all he had to do was hand off the ball. I agree with you on that one. But you don't keep doing it year after year. I mean, yes, You had an up year, down year, an up year, a down year.
Yeah,
It's
well,
going to
guess
happen.
what? Guess what? I don't want to hear about Josh Allen no more. Because until Josh Allen gets to a Super Bowl, he is nothing more than this. I told you, he's this generation's Dan Marino. He's
And
good in the
Josh
regular
Allen
season.
has
Boom.
had really good teams around him. He's had some really stellar defenses. He's had really good offensive lines. This year was a little banged up, but
His wide
typically
receivers were good up until
over the last couple of years,
Last 2 years, no.
no. But he's had good offensive players around him at any point in time. It's not all on Josh Allen. Does Josh Allen's feet work better and help him extend plays better than Jalen does currently? Absolutely. That's something they got to get back into. They got to stop playing scheming scared. And maybe it's Jalen, maybe it's the coaching, maybe it's both. I don't know. But to sit here and tell me, Ryan, that the Eagles, that Jalen Hurts isn't part of the winning of the Eagles is absolute and utter bullshit. I'm going to drop a bad word there. I'll put the money in the old swear jar. Clink, there it is. There's the quarter. I will drop it in there. Yeah, right. But that's bullshit. For anybody to sit here and tell us that Jalen isn't part of the winning part of the culture, but he's the problem when they're losing, that is the most asinine thing to say. I mean, it really is. And I love Ryan. I think, Ryan, you're a great human being, and I agree with you a lot of times on what you bring to the show. But right there, that to me is telling me that's an agenda. That you just don't want Jalen anymore. And that's fine. You don't have to want Jalen anymore, but it is what it is.
There's a fair question.
Yeah, no, he is not from Delco. We are not owning him. He is definitely a Northeast Philly guy.
No, he's not. He's not from there. He's from Uranus.
He's from he's from Uranus.
No,
he's from anybody else's anus but mine.
Question. I've been thinking of: is AJ hurting the play calling because he's limited to certain routes? Isn't he the best route runner? He used to use all. And then technique. I mean, he got a point there too. I'm not going to that game last week. I did not throw everything on Jalen because I felt AJ Brown came up small in that game.
Big time.
Always
open, but not always catching.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, and you know what? I think he needs to. I think he needs to go.
Listen, I think he got his ring, and would he take another one? Absolutely. But I think it's all about AJ Brown right now. He's a diva. Nobody's shocked to use those terms. That AJ Brown's a diva. He's not Terrell Owens yet. He's not Ocho Cinco yet. He's not Antonio Brown yet. Hopefully, he doesn't get that far. That man's just straight nuts. But he is a diva, and I believe he's part of the problem in the locker room and on the offense. He was not how many times do we get him on about effort? How many times do we get him about not running the route or not making the play for the ball a little bit better? And then he had the opportunity to be the hero of the game, and he lost it.
You think we're negative, Robert? Yeah. You ought to come on at 9:00 tonight.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition. Robert says, I don't think the Phillies are going to win more than 90 games. You know what, Al?
At their current rate.
At their current rate, I think this is the year that they do not. There is no Red October here. I don't think there's going to be. I think at best they're probably a 500 team this year.
I don't know if they're best 500, but it's going to be damn close to it.
Make
some improvements. But you know what? Here's my thing. Watch it play out differently. We're all so negative on the situation. And they somehow it being, not being the sexiest team in baseball or even one of the top sexiest teams, maybe they play harder or something. They play with a chip on their shoulder. The Phillies always seem to play better when they're not the top tier team in baseball. So maybe this is what they need. I don't know. That's just me being silly. I sent you a picture the other day, Mike, where it was, for those who didn't know, it's National Hat Day. I think it was Monday, something like that. And as you know, me and Mike are very much into our hats. I'm always wearing a hat of some sort, not just to hide the bald spot. I just really like hats. But they had deals across the board. So I actually went on. I got emails from the the minor league teams because I do watch enough of their stuff and everything, and all the teams had $10 to $15 their good hats. So I got some more Iron Pigs merch, which my wife is so not happy about. I got way too many hats. I got to start giving some away.
Oh, let me see. Let me know which ones. Matter of fact, send me the link for that too, because I used to buy a
just
lot of used to do a
just
lot
go.
of
I don't
them.
know if there's still the sale still going on, but just go to Google. Iron Pigs. Go to their merch store and go to the hat section. Comes right up. $10 or $15. What's it saying? Lost Ranger was crazy dude, almost Andy Young
No, he meant
candidate.
to say he probably went to read Cy Young and spelled out Andy.
Okay.
Ev, I told you 1,000 times, kids, stop using your talk to text because this is what happens. Kids. Oh boy. I said if the Phillies slow start by June, Topper will be out and Mattingly will take over. Oh, I think so too. I think that's why he took the bench coaching job. I mean, what was Topper going to say? Oh man, I really don't want Donnie here. Especially his dad's the GM. so
the rumors are really coming out that it's not a big surprise that McDaniels is actually going to be interviewing, and he's okay with not taking HC if it's with the Eagles.
Yeah, actually, he was like, they talked to him. I want to say maybe a day or so, maybe Thursday or Friday. I saw a thing with him where they were talking about, he goes, what he like. He said that offense. And he goes, who would not want to coach Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and and Saquon Barkley?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
Ryan, I guess, was just kind of going. He's not the biggest reason. And the only thing I'll say to it, so we can continue to move forward with the Phillies conversation, is that if you can't say that when he's the one throwing the ball, he's the one extending plays, he's the one making you really can't say that. But we'll keep going. Watch what's crazy watching the Eagles is I don't think I saw one drag route by a receiver all year. Good point. That's an old sweatshirt. Actually, it's not. It's only a couple years old. For those who don't know, that was it 2 years ago or last year, they had the Spectrum Series Sixers uniforms, which were really awesome, by the way. I got a couple jerseys, but this is the Spectrum Series logo, and this was a sweatshirt. Again, if you just keep your eye on the websites, this was $12. It's soft as hell, and it got the great logos. So you just gotta get lucky sometimes.
we read that one.
The Phillies start slow by June. Topper will be out. Don Mattingly will take over. Adam, that is exactly why Don Mattingly's here. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
he is a safety valve at its finest.
Yep.
So let's talk, Mike. I know we're kind of running over time here, so if you have the moment, let's talk about it. I talk too much. The Phillies, one of the big things, especially Friday, I had to go live not too long after, later in the afternoon after it happened, or later evening after it happened. The Bo Bichette deal falls through. Apparently, they offered him a competitive 7-year, $200 million, but he took a 3-year, $126 million from the Mets, giving him $42 million, but he has opt-outs. Is this the way the world's going now? Do the Phillies got to get on board with these long contracts and understand that people want more money and more out options?
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, listen, maybe that's where it's tending to, but I look at it this way. All right, yeah, he's going to get $42 million to go play with the Mets. Once he sees how much of a train derailment that is up there, he's going to opt out. And here's the best part. If the Phillies want to go resign him next year, he's going to opt out after 1 year. Because why would he? Why would you stay? Like, that whole dude, Pete Alonso was a grown Met, homegrown Met. He got the hell out of there. Like, that told me everything I needed to know. Like, when you have a homegrown guy who says, nah, I'd rather go play in Baltimore than stay in New York. Like, no, man, like there's something not right. I mean, everybody who was meant something to that organization is now gone. Edwin Diaz went to the Dodgers, which, by the way, listen, I'm not made at the Dodgers. They're going to keep spending money, keep winning championships. Let
$60
them
million a year for 4 years for Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
He's not worth that.
$60 million. I mean, that's an overpay of anybody. I mean, there's not many people that maybe Shohei Ohtani I'd pay $60 million for.
Did you see his contract? The way it's deferred.
Oh well, we talked about this.
It's like what's it like $2-3 million a year, but then he gets a boatload at the end of it.
Yeah, we had a long conversation. He's kind of like a much higher paid. How do I put this? It defers for another 10 years after he's done,
Mm-hmm.
But he'll get all his money by the time he turns like 53. He gets $68 million. He's making about the same amount of money per year right now as Bryce Harper.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna get $68 million a year for 10 years after his contract is up with the Dodgers.
Listen, yeah, as much as I couldn't stand Bobby Bonilla, and the only reason I hate Bobby Bonilla is because in '92 when he became a free agent, it came down to a bidding war between the Phillies and the Mets, and he used the Phillies to get leverage to go play in New York. Same
Boba Fett,
thing,
huh?
same thing what Bo Bichette just did. So again, I look at it like this. I feel like the Phillies will have more money because they'll have money coming off their books this year with Castellanos, Walker. They'll be gone,
Yeah.
so their money will be off the books. So they'll have more money to go out and spend. But there's really not a great market of free agents this year. It really wasn't. Like I thought a lot of these dudes got overpaid. Like
No,
Ranger Suarez got overpaid. I'm sorry.
but
5
I
years.
think there was guys available, Mike, who I know I forget who said the comment earlier about philosophy changes. I think it was Ryan. I think it was when me and him were agreeing on something about philosophy changes and guys that come in and because the other guys who are here are not buying into that philosophy change that you could have got. Didn't have to be bona fide superstars or $60 million a year guys, but guys who could have been. And me and Maddie brought him up. Luis Ariz is a guy that still boggles. I guess they say his inconsistency is a problem, but the guy's a career I think what he said, 318, 317 hitter. Last year was one of his lower years at 292 batting average, but other than that, he's always in the threes for the most part. He had 181 hits last year, 8 home runs,
Listen,
61
I would
RBI.
I would
would
take
take him.
yeah, but again though, but you got to find a trade partner for Bone. That's what I'm saying. Like, and right now you're not going to get. I think the only team really that would probably take Bone right now would probably be Seattle.
Yeah, we'll take him. Get some prospects for him. I mean, do you see in any world that Alec Boehm gets better and then you can get more value from him? I think that's a risk that's not worth the reward.
No, he's another one. He's another Phillies player that had a really good showing in the home run contest, and somebody actually thought in the front office he was going to be a power hitter. That's all that was. Remember they did.
We
the
don't
same thing.
need a power hitter, Mike.
I know we need a singles and doubles hitter.
Yeah, just like people were saying, who was the guy that they were trying to? He's like, oh man, Suarez. He was like he's a third baseman, but he's like 35 years old or older. He's really
oh yeah, Eugenio Suarez. He was on a tear last year, and they traded him to Seattle, and he was supposed to be the big bat for Seattle, and he like flamed out.
But he's also a high strikeout guy. Yeah. That's why I like Luis Ariz. He's a low strikeout guy. We have too many of them, and then you sign one of those guys who can do that, has that ability to do that, to a 5-year deal. But
did they sign not Ariz, the other one, Suarez? Did they sign him? Because I thought I read somewhere they signed him to a minor league deal.
Who? Senior Suarez?
Yeah.
Not that I know of. Not as I let me just see. Hold on 1 second.
I know they signed Reneria's kid too. They signed him to international. He was an international signing.
Yeah, I know that Renneria got signed, and Brad Keller joined Team USA in the bullpen. That's really I'm looking at the news right now. It's still about the Bo Bichette and JT is pretty much the big news for the Phillies. Nothing much on that. Brian Torres, Brian, whatever you're smoking this morning, I would love. I want whatever you could bottle up that confidence and share it. Sprinkle it around. Maybe I could put a little bit like a cologne on my neck so I can breathe it in throughout the day. Brian, I hope you're right, man. I would love to be wrong on this one. It's hard to see the forest through the trees right now with the way the built, because it's just a run back. Like it really is like, and it doesn't. I don't think it needed big changes. You know what? Here's the thing: is if the Phillies want me to feel a little better and be more excited about the Phillies season, this upcoming Phillies season, tell me you're going to bat Kyle Schwarber 4th. Tell me you're going to do that, and go get a Luis Ariz. You can afford him. If you're going to afford the Bo Bichette contract, you can afford him.
Mm-hmm.
you could put him at your number 2 spot. That would fill out 1 through 4 right there for me. Make me feel actually 1 through 5 probably with Garcia as an option too. JT's back. It's 1 through 6, I guess. Even better. Go unload Castellanos for what you have to do with him. Go unload Bohm. Get whatever you can get with him from the Mariners. There's just got to be a culture change and just bring in other players who can just make some change. I don't think. Listen, Bo Bichette in my eyes would have made a big difference, but I think you could still make a difference without having to go break the bank. That's just my thoughts on it.
All right, so I don't know. I think they're a 500 team. I would like to see them get a rise. I think if they get a Luis Ariza, I think that will definitely help them. I'm not. I'm a little less, I guess, disappointed than you. I could have cared less whether they got Bichette or not. To me, I didn't feel like he was going to be the answer. So, my son who's moving back to the area says, "Look like we're spending time down the shore instead of."
Yeah, we're going to Lakewood. We're going to watch the Blue Claws play. Actually, me and Matty B were talking about. I want it to happen this summer. You, me, him, Pat, whoever, Steve. I want to go up together to maybe go there or go to Allentown and go catch an Iron Pigs game.
Sounds like a plan.
My plan is to do that a little bit more this season, just because.
I don't.
From a family standpoint, it's less expensive.
Well, yeah, that, and I don't want to give the main ball club my ticket. Like, I was going to get season tickets this year. I really was. I was going to buy in, go get me a couple tickets. But then I looked and I was just like, for what they want now. Well, I was a season ticket holder from 09 to 15, those 6 years. And I'll tell you, for what I paid for my tickets, from where I sat for a 17-game plan, now what I paid for a 17-game plan, you can't even pay a 6-game plan for.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean,
I looked, I was like, no.
I didn't have season tickets, but I bought playoff tickets for 07, 08, 09, 10, all that. From 08 to 09, right? What I paid for my World Series ticket in 08, I paid more for my first playoff game in 09. That's how they jumped. That's how bad they jumped.
Yeah, Evan will tell you, man, when a couple of years when we opened up against the Red Sox at home, my son Evan, he likes the Phillies too, but like his Red Sox are his favorite team, Phillies are his NL team. So
Mike, we got to question your parenting. A Giants fan, a Red Sox fan, Boston and New York. What is going on?
Listen, he loved Manny Ramirez. That was his guy. So he said more excited for the Flyers than the Phillies. Don't get me started on the Sixers. So
hey, listen, man, the Flyers right now with their goaltending situations, that's making it real tough. It's like I always feel like every time they start making us feel special, that something like this comes up and it makes it real difficult.
Games, and I was pounding my chest early. Oh man, I don't see a 10-game losing streak happening here. I think I spoke too soon.
Yeah, I think you spoke into existence.
The
Sixers, though, I'm taking one game at a time, my friend. I'm enjoying each game individually. Like that's how I'm looking at the Sixers right now. I have no expectations. I think they make the playoffs at this point, but I have no expectations. And I have to say that I feel, even though I don't want them here, PG and Embiid, I feel like they're accepting their situations and playing into it. What do you agree to that?
Well, I mean, plain and simple. Like, what else can they do but buy into that? On Hart, I'm not. This is where me and him disagree on this. He talks about Hart. I didn't. Hart had one good year in the bubble. He had one good playoff run in the bubble. Other than that, Hart was not good. My Sixers point is this: as far as George and Embiid playing their roles, yeah, because they already seen that it's not their. Embiid just seen it's not his team anymore. It's Maxi's team. And guess what? Guess who's coming along with that ride? Edgecombe. Edgecombe has been playing phenomenal basketball between him and now your guys. Joel's going to have to be a role player, and I think that might actually do
center. Who would have thought?
But here's the thing, though.
Who would have thought?
Maybe that pressure of him just not having to be the guy might actually help them propel.
Yeah, and let him rest more because the focus is taken off of him. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. That's why I say I take each game individually. You know, and Evan, I know you said innocent until proven guilty, and I agree with you 100% on that. Um, but at the same time, it was never proven innocent either. It was settled out of court. God knows what was said, you know, sometimes it's a locker room thing too. You know, that you have to look at that point of view. Guys have young kids and things go wrong and they feel a certain way about a player. You know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's probably where you have to go and look at it. He had no defense, taking 35 shots a game. Now that they have a better defense, no goaltending, it's not a hard puzzle. Listen, I believe Hart was
their defense is a little better, not much.
Yeah,
not much. I mean, I had the game the other night, and I'll tell you what, I got so sick and tired of watching them again. Like they're falling back into some former habits when they were coached by Tortorella. Like 3 guys standing on one side of the goalie while there's another guy having a barbecue at your goaltender, just waiting to tip it in. Mm-hmm. Like they've been doing that a lot lately, and I didn't see the game yesterday, Al, unfortunately. So I'm kind of glad.
Watch yesterday's much either. I kind of poked in a little bit. It was just, busy day yesterday.
All right. Well, here's the main question that we got. What is for dinner in the Safiri household today?
Well, I made tonight's dinner last night now, so kind of threw things off a little bit. Part of me wants to still go out and barbecue as long as the snow's not too bad. But I think I'm gonna lean away from that. I actually will be making some homemade spaghettis today, some pastas. I'm actually gonna go with a Pat Bernard. I'm gonna steal his, but it's gonna be all homemades. Everything's homemades.
Okay, so it's homemades. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing yet. The home foreman hasn't told me what she wanted to do. And we actually have to be getting. We're going to be getting ready to head out for a little bit.
Be careful. I know we have to head out, but hopefully the streets are nice and clean and cleared.
That's all right. My crews are on it.
PennDOT boys.
My son's having chicken cutlets.
Oh, yeah, I was just putting it up too at the same time.
Yeah. Kid right after my own heart.
Chicken cutlet. You know what? Maybe. So the other night I made chicken cutlets. A couple nights ago, but I freeze a lot. See, when I make things, because we have such a big family, it could have 6 kids, 6 people or more at any time here. Between my father-in-law and then my older son, who can either be working or not. But I always make a lot more, and especially when it takes chicken cutlets, because I hate breading. I hate making. That's the only reason I don't like making chicken cutlets. I hate breading the chicken. So when I make it, no, I just hate the process of the messy process. I don't mind cooking chicken and setting it all up. So what I do is I get my 16-year-old son to do the breading while I'm cooking the chicken, because that was the other problem. Like when you're doing it by yourself, you got to bread, and then cook, because it's hard to cook and bread at the same time and jump back and forth. So when you have another person helping you, it does make it a lot easier. But I make a lot more chicken cutlets than I typically should, because I like to freeze them and have them either. I make chicken cutlet sandwiches or just some sort of a chicken cutlet meal. But I might make some and cut them up and put on top of my pasta tonight. So that might be something I make.
I'll tell you what, Adam, go on TikTok and you can probably look and see Pat. You can probably ask him that yourself. So,
I didn't know they allowed that on TikTok.
Yeah. So, dude, Pat must hate me, because every time there's a place called the Glizzy World or something like that, and every time they break out a new Glizzy, they put a video up of it, and I automatically send it to him. I'm like, yo, here's something for your thoughts. So.
Yeah, but, some guys doom scroll porn. Yeah. Pat doom scrolls glizzies.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us, man. For Al Safiri, I am Mike Laurel. I will see you guys. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Don't forget, Matty B, the coffin will arise.